Welcome to the GameSpy Technology screencast for the ATLAS Web Admin Panel. ATLAS is GameSpy Technology's player metrics and ranking service. ATLAS operates on three core concepts. Keys are the values such as number of kills that your game client reports as inputs to ATLAS on behalf of players, teams, or your entire game. Rules process those key values, generally following operations like add that you set up to process your game's data. Stats are the output of rules and keys which are stored for later query, for example, your game's leaderboard. The keys, rules, and stats for your game make up your ATLAS Ruleset and are defined at the ATLAS Web Admin Panel for your game at poweredbygamespy.com. For an in-depth look at ATLAS Rulesets, visit docs.poweredbygamespy.com/wiki/ATLAS walking through a ruleset. This screencast will show you how to set up the rules, keys, and stats for your game, verify key reporting, and manage querying your stats from the ATLAS Web Admin Panel. The ATLAS Web Admin Panel provides an easy-to-use web interface that allows you to customize the key data that your games report to GameSpy. For more information on GameSpy's player metrics and ranking service, visit the GameSpy developer forums or wiki at poweredbygamespy.com. To begin using the ATLAS Web Admin Panel, first sign up for a free account at poweredbygamespy.com. You'll need to have a game in the developer dashboard. If you already have a game set up, you can immediately begin using the ATLAS Web Admin Panel. If not, setting up a game is a simple process. Click Add New Game on the developer dashboard. The next page asks you to define your game or application. Enter your game or application name. We'll be using ATLAS Web Admin Panel demonstration for this screencast, then enter a short name. Ours is Atlas Web. Enter a description. We want something short and sweet for our demo, like a screencast demonstration of the ATLAS Web Admin Panel. Next, select a game type. We're choosing Demo. Select a game. We'll be choosing Action. Then select a game engine. For this demo, we're selecting Undecided Unknown, but you can use Atlas with any of these engines. Select platforms for your game. Note that you must select at least one platform, and that each platform you select will create a separate set of game identifiers for that platform. Under GameSpy Technology services you plan to use, we'll check the items relevant to this demo, leaderboards, and player statistics. If you are creating a new game with the intent to use other GameSpy Technology services, you could also check items from the other columns as needed. Once you've entered your information, click Save. The first step for using the ATLAS Web Admin Panel is to set up a rule set. To open the ATLAS Web Admin Panel, click on Tools to the left of the Developer Dashboard link, then click on Atlas 2.0. The rule set we create today will be straightforward and track two things: the player's name or unique nick and his total number of wins. The next page will ask you to select a game. I'll be selecting the demo game that we created for this screencast. Now select Rule Set Management, and then select Enter New Version to begin creating a rule set. Enter 1 for your version number, and version 1.0 for your description, then click Save. Next we need to add a key. As we covered at the beginning of this demo, keys are the values like number of kills that your game reports to Atlas for your players, teams, or games. First click on the key icon under Keys, then select New Key. The first key to set up will receive a player's username into Atlas. The username for GameSpy accounts is called a unique nick, so you name this Atlas key incoming_unique nick. Select string for its data type, and give it a description along the lines of the player's GameSpy unique nick as reported by the game session. Next, we'll set up our Atlas statistics. Return to Rule Set Management. To begin entering stats, click on the version selector located under Actions. On the Categories page, create a new category and title it General. Next, click View Stats for this category. Category is a way of logically grouping related Atlas stats and rules together when you make larger or more complex Atlas rule sets. In our newly created category, create the following stats with their accompanying data types, default values, if any, leave the field blank if there isn't one, scopes, and descriptions. Once you've entered your stats, the stats window should look like this. Now we need to add rules to the stats that we've entered. Click on the View Rules for this stat icon under Actions, and you should see three fields to fill for rules: Operator, Inputs, and Outputs. The operator or rule operation is the action that a rule performs, usually arithmetic, e.g. add, multiply, etc. We provide a set of rules that we found to be commonly needed rule operations. Next, click on the drop-down box under Operator to choose an appropriate operator type. Then click on the empty field under Inputs to open a window where we can define the inputs to be used on the corresponding rule line. As a side note, the ATLAS Web Admin Panel interface will also search for and offer relevant options for the rules you're entering. If you're not sure that you've selected inputs that work, you can click Validate to verify that the rule works accordingly. Next, add the following rules for the corresponding stat names. The rules that we've entered for this demo are only 2 of the many rule operations available in Atlas. To see a complete list of available Atlas rule operations, visit docs.poweredbygamespy.com/wiki/atlas-rule-operations. At this point, you'll need to incorporate the GameSpy Atlas client into your game, a process that varies depending on your development tools and platform. This demo assumes you take care of that step separately and that your game is correctly reporting to Atlas. Although the Debug Viewer tab, which we explain next, can also help you verify that your game client is reporting to Atlas correctly. You can view the data your game reports back to Atlas in the Debug Viewer tab of the Atlas Web Admin panel. For this demo, we'll be looking at an existing rule set recorded for another GameSpy Technology demonstration that uses a rule set tracking the player's unique nick and total number of wins. A complete game will probably have more data reported. The Debug Viewer tab provides some important information about the matches, sometimes alternately referred to as sessions or reports, that Atlas receives. Session ID is where the unique identifier for a new Atlas session or match is displayed. The most recent match is always at the top of the list. Snapshots, labeled here as snaps, are game session reports from individual participants. Intents represent intentions to report on a given game session by a participant, even if that report was ultimately never received by Atlas. The snapshot section can be folded open and closed by clicking on the list link under snaps/intents. You can view the individual key values reported by each participant in an Atlas session after unfolding a snapshot section and clicking on the data link. Note that Atlas typically takes 5 to 10 minutes to process each incoming match, so you may want to use locally cached values to display result screens in your game UI. Let us know via a forum post at poweredbygamespy.com when your game launches and we can move it to cached Atlas processing, which is faster for games that have rule sets that do not frequently change. You can also download an XML file created from a match's data by clicking on the link for the session ID of the match. And then you can run that match as a test using the Debug Simulator tab in the Atlas Web Admin panel. After saving the XML file, click on the Debug Simulator tab, then under Import a Match from XML, click Browse, select that file, and click Import to show the match. You can also manually create your own matches with the Add Player and Add Team buttons, save a created match to XML, and submit the match to your game's Atlas data with the Submit Competition button. The last feature of the Atlas Web Admin panel is the Query Management tab. Query management is how you retrieve data from Atlas for your in-game stats and leaderboards. To create a new query, first select the version of your rule set, which is 1 in our demo, though it may be different for an existing game. Select Ranked Query from the appropriate drop-down box, and then click Click Here. The next page provides fields to specify the parameters of the query. It's important that you start in the Scope and Stat category fields in that order. Enter the following information for your new query. For Scope, enter Player. Under Stat category, enter General. Your label will be Win Total. Rank on Stat will need Win Total and greater value. And for Single, Multiple, or All, choose All. Now save your query and then click Back. You can click on the ID number for your query under Query ID to get the full GUID identifier for it and to preview it. You'll need to reference this GUID identifier when you call this query from your game client. Once you open the Query Details page, enter 1 into the page index and 10 into the page size fields and click Execute to get a preview of the data retrieved by your query. If you were previewing a query for an existing rule set, it would look something like this. The Page Index field specifies which page of the result rows you want to see, and the page size specifies the number of rows per page. At this point, you'll need to set up your game to query Atlas, a step that will vary depending on the different tools and platforms used in your development process. This completes the GameSpy Atlas Web Admin Panel demonstration. For more information, sign up for a free GameSpy account and check out our developer forums and wiki at poweredbygamespy.com.